Hello everyone and welcome back to the Forest of Doom. Last time we left off, we just managed to obtain the second half of the quest item that we were looking for, the Warhammer of Gillibrand. And now we are ready to exit the forest, find our way to Stonebridge and reap our reward. So let's do just that. We are heading north. The path presses on northwards through the dense trees. Then it makes a sudden turn to the right and heads east. The path is so overgrown in places that we have to use our sword to cut through it. Our walk east is long and tiring, but at least without any peril. At last, we reach a junction in the path. Looking at Bigleg's map, we decide to head north again in the direction of Stonebridge and ignore the narrow path continuing east. And that is the right call to make, because now we don't need any further adventure, we just need to get out of here. The path opens out into a small clearing. To our right, we see a pile of branches, grass, and pieces of rag. The lair of some large creature. Amongst the debris and old bones scattered about, we catch sight of something glittering. And I know that we should not investigate, because there is we cannot gain anything that is important to our quest now. We just need to survive, but we cannot resist the temptation of something glittering, so we are going to go there and look more closely. We walk over to investigate the lair, but we are suddenly aware of a dark shadow being cast all about us. We hear a loud roar above us and look up to see a dragon-like creature with 2 legs and green scaly skin flying down to its lair. A bolt of fire shoots from its mouth towards us. Okay, this is clearly a... Well, I don't think it's a dragon, it looks less dangerous than one, but it's clearly a related creature, some kind of drake or wyvern or whatever. And it is definitely dangerous and powerful. We are as well, so if it comes to a battle, we are a challenging foe for it, but it looks like we have just found an encounter that we could have avoided. But before we even face the creature, we need to test our luck, because a bolt of fire is shooting towards us. Our luck is at 9, and we could... oh no, we couldn't. Right, so there's nothing to do about it, unfortunately. So let's see if this firebolt hits us. Sadly, our luck has run out. Alright, we rolled a luck score of 10, which is amazing. If we are unlucky, the fire hits us. The firebolt slams into our back, knocking us to the ground. We lose 4 stamina points for the injury caused by a terrible burn. Well, we are still alive, but we are badly injured, and I don't want to take on this, whatever it is, without healing back up. We have a bunch of options to heal up, so let's drink a potion of healing real quick. And, well, that should be sufficient, hopefully. I'm thinking we might find something that will cure us or heal us back up, so I don't want to waste more of our items. So let's continue like this. The creature landing in front of us is a wyvern. It looks at us and opens its huge mouth to let out another burning roar. It is about 10 meters long, and its thick scales look hard to penetrate with our sword. Alright, that's not a good sign, but we possess a flute. I don't know why it's relevant, but we possess a flute we picked up at the beginning of our adventure, so let's see what it does. We reach into our backpack and pull out the tiny brass flute. We have a strange feeling that we must play it now, before the enraged wyvern. And I don't know where we get the strange feeling, it's like spidey sense, I guess. As we do, a soft and gentle sound plays out from the flute, and a quizzical look appears on the wyvern's face. Its mouth closes and its eyelids start to droop. Turns out we are playing a magical flute of dragon sleep, and the wyvern is powerless to resist its soothing song. Slowly the wyvern slumps to the ground and is soon fast asleep. Whew! Well, turns out we did manage to avoid battle, which is amazing luck. I didn't want to fight this creature, especially, you know, when there is no need to do so. So I guess it's time to rummage around its lair and rob it of its valuables and useful items. We walk round the motionless wyvern and start to rummage through its lair and surrounding debris. We find a gauntlet made of plate iron, a throwing knife, 10 gold pieces and a gold ring. We put the knife and the gold pieces in our backpack, and that's great. And we are full of gold, so this adventure has been very generous in that regard as well. Now we are going to try on all these items because that's how we roll. So let's try on the gauntlet first. We could leave these items, but obviously we came for the items, so let's try on the gauntlet first. We slip the gauntlet onto our hand and take hold of our sword. Slicing the air with it, we feel more than usually skilled with our weapon. We now possess a gauntlet of weapon skill, which adds 1 point of skill to our skill stat, as long as we wear it. Wow, that's awesome. I guess we didn't put it on because why? Interesting. We had a bracelet of skill and the gauntlet of weapon skill, and maybe they are exclusive items, so you can only wear one of them, because clearly we did not get the skill boost, so it's still 12. Oh well, 12 skill level is fine. So let's try on the gold ring. Let's see what it does. Slipping the ring onto our middle finger, we are suddenly gripped by an agonizing pain. Eventually, the pain subsides, but we are unable to take off the ring. Wow, unlucky. We are wearing a cursed ring of slowness, which will subtract 2 points of skill. And that's not good, although that's also not calculated for whatever reason, so we're safe, I guess. I wonder if this is fixed in upcoming battles. Well, there's nothing we can do about it apparently, and we have already tried the gauntlet on, so we must return to the path and walk north again. Let's see where that leads. Walking along the narrow path, we suddenly hear the sharp crack of a twig breaking and the whispering of low voices. We draw our sword and wait anxiously with our back to a large oak tree. Then, from behind the trees opposite us, step 4 men and a woman dressed in green tunics. Each looks menacing, and they stand with swords and axes in their hands. The young woman steps forward and tells us that we are trespassing on their territory and we must pay a levy of 5 objects from our backpack or face the consequences. And this woman is more manly than most men I know, but I guess that's why she's in charge of these burly guys. And they seem to be bandits or they kind of hermits or rebels or whatever they are. I think we could take them on even with the ring, and even if the ring subtracts 2 points of skill. I don't think they're that dangerous. We have killed a fire demon, so they're definitely in for a good whooping. But we are not here to massacre whoever they are. We don't know for sure that they're evil or that they're bandits or whatever. So I'd say we can get rid of 5 items. Let's see if they accept 5 gold pieces as a levy, because we definitely have a lot of money that we can get rid of. We have a lot of items anyway to get rid of. So if they take 5 gold pieces as a toll, and then we can avoid the bloodshed, I say that that's a fair trade. We may treat all the items in our backpack as a single object, including each gold piece. That's great, so they'll accept 5 gold pieces, so we're just going to simply pay them 5 gold pieces. Right. We have given 5 objects, so let's see how they react. I hope they don't attack us for more of our gold. The bandit woman... Okay, so it turns out that they were bandits. The bandit woman takes the items from us and steps back to let us pass. Whew, okay, good. We managed to pass this encounter as well, and It seems that now, as we head north again, we soon notice the trees beginning to thin out on either side of the path. Eventually, the path leads out of the trees into a plowed field. We are now out of Darkwood Forest. That's great. Seems that our journey or quest was a success. We only need to cash it in, right? The path leads through the field to a stone bridge over a clear stream. Beyond the bridge are the small cottages and wooden huts of a village. A sign on the bridge reads, Stone Bridge. What do you know? We are successful. We have concluded our quest, hopefully. We cross the bridge and see two old dwarves with long white beards standing by a cottage looking at us. Do we have the hammerhead and the hammer handle with the letter G inscribed in them? And we sure do. And as you can see, this will take us to the final entry of the book, so the good ending. But before we do that, and as tradition dictates, let us quickly review our adventure. We took a long trek in 2 or 1.5 days, starting from, you know, poor old Big Leg, 2 nights ago, and after shopping at Yestromos Tower, we have had a couple of encounters with some strange, unusual creatures, until we eventually, we got to seemingly important junction, until we eventually found the ogres in the ogre's cave, one half of the hammer, the hammer handle to be specific, and after a whole bunch of junctions and encounters, we have crossed the river that flows through the middle of this area, right? River, and we have found the Clone Warriors cavern, defeated the fire demon, and after a few more junctions, we found the crypt, a tomb hiding the hammerhead, after which we simply closed out our adventure. We passed the wyvern without killing it, we passed the forest bandits without killing them, although we had to pay them off, and now we're at Stonebridge. And our character is much improved over this. We have managed to obtain quite a few of quite some equipment, a lot of gold, and a whole other long list of miscellaneous useful and less useful items. That's great. Let's end this adventure right here. We woke up to the old dwarves and asked them to take us to Gillibrand. They eye us suspiciously, but agree to do so, commenting on our wounds and torn clothing. "You got those in Darkwood Forest, I presume," says one of the dwarves, pointing at various gashes on our body with his long clay pipe. "Some people never learn. Adventurers are all the same. I can't see the sense in it myself." We walk through the village behind the two dwarves and are aware of many dwarvish folks watching us. They begin to follow us, and a procession builds up behind. There are lots of mutterings and whispers amongst the crowd of dwarves, and expectant looks show on their faces. Soon we arrive at the foot of the stone steps leading up to a stone building. Outside the building, on an ornate wooden throne, sits a small old man with a long beard. He is wearing a crown, but he looks miserable and holds his head in his hands. We run up the steps, taking the hammerhead and the hammer handle from our backpack. At the sight of them, the old dwarf's eyes light up and he jumps to his feet. Taking them eagerly from us, he starts to shout, "My hammer! My hammer! We are saved! Now, my people, we are ready to fight the trolls!" The whole crowd erupts into cheering, waving their axes and swords in the air. We tell Gillibrand of Big Leg's misfortune and why we decided to continue his quest, well, for money, right? And of all the monsters we have encountered on our way. Gillibrand listens and frowns at the news of Big Leg. his faithful servant. He then opens a drawer in the base of the throne and reaches into it, pulling out a small silver box and the golden winged helmet, and hands them to us. The helmet is worth hundreds of gold pieces, and we proudly place it on our head. A great roar of approval comes from the crowd. We open the silver box and find dozens of jewels and gems. We put these in our backpack and wave to the happy dwarfs of Stonebridge goodbye. Our quest is over, and we are now wealthy beyond our wildest dreams. That's what I call a 100% success. New equipment, including a new helmet, shield, some bracelets, and a cursed ring, unfortunately, a lot of money, jewels, gems, whatever, and a hero's adventure to tell. That's the end of our journey. And just a few words of this. If you compare it to the previous book, I think it's worth comparing because it's so much different than the Citadel of Chaos is. The Citadel of Chaos is more of an improvement of the first book in the series, and this is nothing like that in my opinion. It was written by a totally different mindset, which is kind of strange because I know it was written by Ian Livingstone instead of Steve Jackson, but the whole feel and the whole idea of the book, that the background, the setup is different. The adventure makes sense, at least, unlike the Warlock of Firetop Mountain, but that's a bit of a that was a bit of a stretch. Here it's perfectly clear we're in for treasure. We have a chance to obtain it, so we go for it. That's okay. It's a nice setup, but the main difference is that the Citadel of Chaos and also the Warlock's Lair were both creepy, dangerous, oppressive places. They were suffocating and evoked an uneasy feeling with danger every step of the way. They had good encounters. They had even lawful or good creatures in them. But in general, we walked into the lair of, well, either evil or at least, danger. And for a place called the Forest of Doom, Darkwood Forest is not that dangerous. First of all, it's only a ring of trees, so the middle of it is extremely, the middle clearing is extremely friendly. We had some encounters, like for instance with the barbarian or I don't know, the vampire bats at night, but mostly it was tranquil. And this forest, while it does house a lot of dangerous creatures, and we haven't seen the worst of them, for instance this shape changer. Unfortunately, there is no way to have this encounter if you want to win the book. But even with all these evil and dangerous creatures, you still meet a whole lot of friendlies, like Quinn, like the Huntsman, for instance, and so I think the main difference this book has compared to the previous two entries is that this is an adventure. The previous ones were more of a quest. You went there for a specific purpose to face the dangers and trials and tribulations of a place that you wanted to overcome. And here you went there because of fun. You wanted to gain something out of it, and not because it was like truly important to save the dwarfs from the hill trolls. I still don't understand how that Warhammer is gonna save them, but whatever. It might be a religious or a mystical item. In any case, at first this book did not click for me at all. But once I realized that you have to look at it in a different way, you have to observe it that this is an adventure where you are supposed to have fun and you're just supposed to check out all these weird encounters and experience what they have to offer. It's I see it in a much better light. It's a great book, not as emotionally engaging in my opinion as the Citadel of Chaos, which is a masterpiece in this regard, but it is there for you to have fun. And let me tell you, this book has a ton of encounters. We barely scratched the surface of it, and we still saw quite a few of them. There are a lot of parallel paths, a lot of different solutions to different encounters, and ranging from positive or nothing dangerous to hostile and really challenging fights or tricky situations. So overall, if you're looking for something that challenges you, that you want to truly engaging, then I don't think this book is the best example. But if you just want to be a vagabond adventurer in a strange environment, roaming randomly and overturning rocks to see what lies beneath them, then this is a very good example of how it should be done. So I guess it's all up to expectations. I enjoyed this book. I don't hold it in as high a regard as The Citadel of Chaos, but it's definitely worth checking out. And I definitely recommend you do so, even if you have seen this walkthrough. The majority of the book is still unexplored, unfortunately, due to the parallel paths. I tried to show you everything, all the optional encounters, and there was only one path that I could choose from between two options, and I chose the one with the more interesting and simply just numerically more encounters and rooms. But otherwise, you still have a lot to explore in this book, and a lot of it is very much worth exploring. So there you go. If you have the option to do so, I recommend you check it out, because you definitely haven't seen all of it. I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next series, in the next book. Bye bye.